Hello, welcome to Statecraft IS and Social Perspectives Sociology newspaper series. In this series, we shall discuss daily news articles in sociological perspective and revise relevant UPSC related mains concepts with the help of a newspaper on daily basis. In today's video, we have an article saying the threat to grasp in the Kitex story. The saga of the garment makers investment relocation points to the bargain between capitalism and democracy. Now, through this article, the author tries to discuss about a popular debate between capitalism and democracy, and he uses the garment maker known as Kitex Group as a case study. Now, what happened to that Kitex Group is it fielded its candidate. It is a leading garment maker. It has its exports to other countries also. It fielded its candidates in local panchayat elections in Kerala, and it got elected also. It has expanded its political base to four other panchayats. Now, when it thought of expanding its base to assembly also, it fielded its candidates in assembly elections, but did not win in assembly elections. Even one seat was not won, but their candidates performed well. Now, when it thought of expanding its investments in Kerala due to unfriendly relations between Kerala government, political class, and the Kitex Group, it shifted its manufacturing base from Kerala to Telangana because Telangana was more friendly than Kerala, and it offered assistance also. It gave all the roles that the company wanted. So the company shifted its base from Kerala to Telangana. Now this article says the company chose Telangana. The state had not only offered it the best deal, but also sent a plane for the company leaders to travel to Hyderabad and meet the Minister for Industries. Now this explains why Karl Marx and Marxism is relevant. Now, when Weber eulogized bureaucracy, came with a concept called bureaucracy or ideal type bureaucracy. Karl Marx criticized bureaucracy or Weberian bureaucracy, saying that political class will always support or will always heed to the interests of the capitalist class, because capitalist class were well-off class in the society and they were minority in number. So, however liberal political ideology may be, they will always heed to the interests of the capital class at the cost of common people or at the exploitation of working class. Now, this says this Telangana government not only offered the best deal for Kitex Group, it also sent its own plane for the industry officials to meet with the minister. That explains, or that is a classic example how Telangana political class is heeding to the interests of capitalist class. That's why Karl Marx is relevant. This whole article is relevant in the context of Karl Marx capitalism and its class struggle. Moving on, it says the Kitex episode mirrors an ongoing global bargain between capitalism and democracy. At the heart of the debate are two questions. First, how does the capitalist enterprise relate to the political and social organization in its location? Second, how do different jurisdictions compete for investments and at what social cost? That means this competition for investments has social costs also. What are those social costs? While in a bid to win the competition, the states or state governments, what they do is they offer more tax incentives, and they give out every government land for free, power for free, and other facilities for free. Government itself has something called industrial infrastructure corporation, etc. Now these industrial infrastructure corporations, they themselves set up infrastructure that is required for the industries to thrive well. On the other hand, we have many poor people dying there, many poor people starving there. We have economic inequalities, many unemployed youth are there. Rather than providing the or serving their needs, government is in turn serving the interests of the industrial class through providing infrastructure for them, giving them free power, free land, everything for free. Whereas the poor people, we don't have free power, we don't have enough food to eat. Despite this, government is trying to heed to the interest of the industrial class. That's why Karl Marx is relevant there. Karl Marx also says the same thing. Political class always heeds to the interest of the capitalist class, and capitalist class in turn exploits the working class. In 2015, the corporate social responsibility activities of the company took a political form. Under the banner 2020 Kilakkambalam, it fielded candidates in the local body elections in a sensational move. It won 17 of the 19 seats and took control of the panchayat. In the 2020 local body elections, it captured power in 3 more panchayats. In the 2021 Kerala Assembly elections, 2020 fielded candidates in 8 segments and performed well, though nobody won. Now, the article further says The investor friendliness of a state is often reduced to its willingness and capability to override the interests of the labor, environment, and indigenous populations. That's why this article is relevant in social perspective also, in our sociology syllabus also, because democracy or political class interest for industrial class or capitalists have social costs in it. Because what are tax incentives that government is offering, it is offering out of the pocket of public only. Public are paying taxes, and with that money government is trying to help industrialists set up their bases. Government is collecting taxes from common people, whereas it is giving incentives to the industrialists who are already well off in the society. How tax concessions impact state capacity is a linked question. With states losing most taxation powers, tax concessions are not a viable allurement that they can offer anymore. See, we have GST in place. State governments are losing their taxation powers. They have given all their taxation powers to the central government. Hence, in this scenario, whatever the tax that the state governments are getting, that they are very much valuable. Despite being so, state governments are offering tax incentives to the industries, and this is not so welcome move. States are already deprived of their taxation powers, so they must utilize to the fullest extent what all the powers they have. They should not give tax incentives like this to the industries. We have an example here to quote, or to quote in exams, or to strengthen our argument even in essays also. It says Jharkhand is ranked 5 in the ease of doing business ranking. Kerala is at 28. The previous government of Jharkhand, that means Jharkhand has more investor friendly environment. The previous government of Jharkhand would jail 3,000 Adivasis who claimed legally guaranteed rights under the PESA Act and the Forest Rights Act. That means this example shows how the Jharkhand government is listening or helping the industrialists at the cost of Adivasis. That means tribals are losing their rights. Society is losing their power in the in this capitalist supported political environment. The fight for their legal rights led Jesuit priest Father Stan Swami to imprisonment and death in custody at the age of 84 recently. In the poverty scorecard out of 100, in the Sustainable Development Goals Index 2019-20, Jharkhand is 28, while Kerala gets 64. That means Kerala has a higher score than Jharkhand. That means Kerala is more progressive in development. That means it has fared well in Sustainable Development Goals than Jharkhand. Whereas in ease of doing business, Kerala has low score than Jharkhand. That means this paradox shows, or this comparison shows that the more the governments try to move closer to the industrialists, that much they move farther to the sustainable development goals. Kerala and Jharkhand are the classic example for this. The story of globalization is a story of capital's enhanced capacity to flee from the shackles of too much democracy to places that are well controlled under a strong regime where all clearances are available at a single window. Investments move to places where environmental regulations are lax, wages are low, labor standards are weak, and dissent is answered with an iron fist. This was working perfectly until its ripple effects reached the shores of Western democracies. Now the West is waking up to the challenge, and the G7 move is an acknowledgement of the crisis. US Secretary of the Treasury Janet L. Yellen now talks about the working class. That global minimum tax would end the race to the bottom in corporate taxation and ensure fairness for the middle class and working people in the US and around the world, she said recently. This would also be encouraging countries to compete on positive basis, such as educating and training our workforces and investing in research and development and infrastructure. Now, while quoting the challenges with the political system or democracy when it is trying to heat to the capitalism, after rating all the challenges, we have to after rating all the negative fallouts of that, we have to suggest some measures to address that also. Now, one of such measures is global minimum taxation, as it is mentioned here, because of the reasons we have already discussed. It says the need of the hour is to discuss the requirement of a national standard for corporate governance, environment, and labor, alongside the forceful implementation of the laws that guarantee the rights of indigenous communities in the development process. That this can be used as a conclusion statement in our answers. Now, this whole article is highly relevant in Karl Marx perspective. We may get a question in our exam also. asking about the same debate. It may ask us to discuss about the debate between capitalism and democracy on how democracy is becoming lenient to capitalism. We have seen in the British era that monarchy or autocracy, this has heeded to the capitalism. That means Britishers came as capitalists to India. They expanded their business and they soon became political section also. While we thought that in democracy such things may not happen, but in democracy also it is happening. We have seen in Kerala, Kerala example, and how this Kitex group is contesting elections, and they themselves, that means capitalists themselves, are becoming political class in Kerala. This is an again alarming move, and we have to take care of such moves. Moving on to the next article, here we have seen we have an article or data point. It shows about population control. It says baby steps are better. With Uttar Pradesh preparing a draft bill on population control, there are wide discussions on whether coercive measures help control fertility rate. The move comes at a time when fertility levels are reducing across states. Data show that passive methods like better delivery of contraceptives and education of women bring down fertility levels. Moreover, in a country with a high preference of male child, the move could lead to more abortions. Now, this data point have many figures which can be used in our answers. In the first figure, it says India's average total fertility rate reduced from 2.7 to 2.2 in the period. This data point is highly relevant. The graph plots the percentage of men who want more sons than daughters against the share who want the opposite. Except in Goa, where the percentages were equal, in all the other states, a significantly higher share of men want more sons than daughters. Here we have seen Goa is exactly at the 45-degree line. That means it prefers both daughters and sons in the same manner, whereas all the other states they have high preference towards sons. In this data point, we have the higher the share of educated women, the lower the total fertility rate. Here we have seen total fertility rate increases like this. Higher the total fertility rate, lower the higher the education, lower the total fertility rate. Here we have education. Higher is the education, lower the total fertility rate. In this graph, we have the higher the unmet need, the higher the total fertility rate. That means when the unmet needs are higher, families look for more earning hands to serve their needs, and thus becomes total fertility rate higher. In this sense, all the data points can be used in our answers in relation to population dynamics unit in our paper 2. Here we have an important statistic saying 23 point, the percentage of decrease in the total fertility rate of Uttar Pradesh between 2006 and 2016-18. India's total fertility rate came down by 18.5% in the same period. That means total fertility rate is already decreasing. In this scenario, such harsh measures are not so appealing. Even then, government is going with such harsh measures, and we can say that such harsh measures are not so necessary, and they may be counterproductive also. Instead, we have passive methods working, like education to women or awareness about contraceptives, etc. All these passive methods are working in real, and they can be used rather than going for harsh punishment measures, which the Uttar Pradesh government has brought to control population. In that sense, this article is relevant to our sociology syllabus also. And that's all we have for today. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to Statecraft IAS. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.